Alright friends, so welcome to ASAP Education Gaming Academy's math course, and I will be your tutor for this course. And I thought that I would be getting started with a basic skill um, in math, and it's also known as expressions and equations. If this would allow me to write, there we go, expressions and um, equations. And this is middle school math and a little bit of, just a little bit of 6th and 7th grade math, also high school math. But I am using Jamboard, Google Jamboard right there. The link is jamboard.google.com. It is like a blackboard. And let me just center that. So we're going to be talking about equations. And what are equations? You probably have seen equations like this. And I should probably change that color. Oops, let me just erase that. So, white. So, you probably saw equations like this. 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. So, expressions are similar to that. But instead of solving a equation or adding, subtracting, dividing, or multiplying two numbers, you have to try to find the value of a variable. Let me just write that. Variable. So that's what you have to solve for. And please excuse me for my really bad handwriting, but so you have to solve for variables. And I'm just going to give you a basic um, overview of how to solve expressions. So there are 4 ways to solve it, and let me just clear everything. So there is text, and then it says, so there's an addition expression, there is a subtraction equation, subtraction. There is a multiplication, and there is a division. So I will be going over how to solve each of these on its own way. So addition. So here is the most basic addition expression. So it's basically just like your normal 4 plus 3 questions. And let me just erase that. It looks really bad. And let me try it like this. 4 plus, and instead of 3 here, we want to find the value of x, which is our variable, is equal to, and then the number 7. So you probably know basic addition and you say that x is equal to 3. But there is another way to solve it. And so every time you solve for x, what you have to do is bring all of the numbers over to one side and bring all of the variables to another side. And we do that by subtracting 4. And I'll explain why. So 4, you probably think there's no negative sign in the front of it. So we know that it's positive. So we want to subtract 4 from both sides to bring all the variables together. You're subtracting 4 from here, and then you're adding it, but not really adding it. You're just doing the opposite. So you're taking 4 from here and adding it. That's what you're basically doing. So as you know, 7 minus 4 is equal to 3, so x is equal to 3. So now let me just make a line here. And subtraction. So subtraction is basically the same thing as addition. So let's do something like negative 4 minus x is equal to 7. And this is a bit different. So as I explained, you would add 4 to both sides. So you would think that x is equal to 11, but that's not the case. So you have negative x is equal to 11. But what you have to do is always remember that x, if it's negative x or any variable with a negative in front of it, then it's always 1. It's always given the value of 1. So always put a negative 1 at the bottom. So what your answer now is, it's x is equal to negative 11 instead of positive 11. So let me just go over what I did there. So each variable is always equal to 1. And then you carry the negative, divide it, since you're multiplying. So that's the opposite. And then you divide negative 1 on both sides. So 11 divided by negative 1 is negative 11. So multiplication is this, it's almost similar to addition. So you probably have done something like 4 and then a dot, which is to present the multiplication sign. It can also be an asterisk or an X. 3 is equal to 12. But expression multiplication is a bit different. So let's just say we have 4 times x is equal to 12. So we know that x is equal to 3. But how would you solve this? You would divide 4 like we did here. We divided x by 1 and 11 by 1. So you divide both sides by 4. And then you're left with x is equal to 12 over 4, or 3. So hope that made sense. And now we're going to do division. Division is similar to subtraction. So let's just say that you have x over 7 is equal to 9. That does not look like a 9. There we go. So what you would do is, if it's division, you would multiply it, correct? So you don't multiply 7 over x. Actually, you would do that, but what you would do is just take the denominator and multiply it to the numerator and the other number on the other side of the equation sign. So you have x is equal to 63, which is correct in our case. So that is the basics of expressions, and we will be, you can just search up expressions and solve it from there, but those are the basics of how to solve them. Stay tuned for the next tutorial in this series. Thank you for watching.